Today, we're going to tackle a topic that, let's be honest, can strike fear into the hearts of many parents. But it absolutely doesn't have to. We're going to explore the Montessori way to stress-free toilet learning, looking at a calmer, way more respectful approach.
I mean, just hear those words, potty training. Does it make your shoulders tense up a little bit? For so many of us, it conjures up images of pressure, of battles, of this massive milestone that we just have to conquer.
But what if there's a totally different way to look at it? The philosophy we're diving into today is completely different. It's calm, it's respectful, and it's all about the child, not about some arbitrary deadline on a calendar.
So, the first and maybe the biggest shift in thinking starts with the words we use. The whole Montessori approach is about moving away from the idea of training and toward the idea of learning.
And it's amazing how much of a difference one word can make, right? Training kind of implies we're trying to get a result, using rewards, maybe even pressure. It's about our agenda as the adult. But learning, well, that reframes the whole thing. It becomes a natural, gentle process that the child leads, just like they learn to walk or talk.
Okay, so this begs the question, right? How in the world do you know when to even begin? Let's take a look at the Montessori signs of readiness.
The whole idea here is to become a bit of a detective. Instead of picking a date because your child is a certain age or because maybe you are feeling a little outside pressure, you just watch. You follow their lead. It's all about their timeline, not ours.
So what are you actually looking for? Well, things like, are they walking pretty steadily on their own? Are they staying dry for longer periods, maybe an hour or two? You might also see them getting curious, like following you into the bathroom. Or maybe they're starting to tell you, with words or even just by pointing, that they need a diaper change. These are all little signals that they're getting ready.
And this is absolutely crucial. You just can't rush this. Trying to force a child before they're physically and emotionally ready is pretty much a recipe for stress and resistance. The entire approach is built on this foundation of patience and just respecting your child's individual pace.
So, once you've observed those signs and you think, okay, we're ready, the next step is to set up the environment for success. And it really just starts with a few key, very simple tools.
First up, and this one might actually surprise you, the idea is to skip the little plastic potty chair and go straight for the real toilet.
So why is that? Well, using a small toilet seat insert and a little step stool helps them sit correctly and feel really secure. But more than that, it builds confidence. They're learning a real-life skill in the actual place they'll be using it. It helps them feel capable and makes the whole process feel less like a game and more like a part of everyday life.
The next must-have in your toolkit? Just plain old cotton underwear. The idea is to switch to these during waking hours, right when you start the process. And the thinking behind this is actually pretty brilliant. Modern diapers are designed to be super absorbent, right? They pull wetness away immediately, which is great, except when a child is trying to learn what it feels like to pee. Cotton underwear gives them that immediate, direct feedback, that oops, I'm wet feeling. That connection is exactly what teaches them to recognize their body's signals.
Which of course brings us to a huge mindset shift. Accidents are going to happen. It's a guarantee. But in this way of thinking, they're not failures. They're not setbacks. They're just learning opportunities. They're an expected, totally normal part of the process.
So to support this learning, the key is consistency. This routine shows how you can build predictable toilet moments into the day. By just calmly offering the toilet at natural transition times, like when you get home, before a snack, after playing, it just becomes a normal, no-pressure part of their daily rhythm.
All right, we've talked about the physical setup, but now we're getting into what might be the most important part of all, how we talk about it, because our words, they can make or break this whole process.
The whole goal with our language is to create a space that feels emotionally safe. We want to avoid anything that sounds like pressure or shame or disappointment because that can really damage a child's confidence and set the whole process back.
And when you see it side by side, the difference is just huge. So instead of praise like good job, which can actually create a weird kind of performance anxiety, or pressure like you need to go now, the language becomes really observational and supportive. Simple things like, it looks like your body is learning, or if there's an accident, let's clean this up together. It acknowledges what's happening without any judgment at all.
Okay, so let's pull all of these threads together. What's the real endgame here? What's the actual goal of this Montessori approach to toilet learning? When you boil it all down, this entire journey is guided by four main ideas. It's about being calm. It's about being respectful of your child's body and their timing.
It's about having endless patience. And, most importantly, it's always about letting the child lead the way.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. What if we completely shifted our focus? What if the true goal here isn't just about a dry diaper, but about fostering a confident, independent child who is proud of what their body can do? According to this approach, that changes everything.